right, it is January 22nd, 2022, and we went out to dinner with some friends the other night who spent the evening regaling us with tales of a cooking technique called sous vide. They absolutely raved about it and told us how wonderful it was for making a steak absolutely to the perfect temperature, perfect doneness. And so I did a lot of research over the last several days and decided that we would embark upon this journey ourselves. And so what I found in looking at the different types of sous vide kits, and what I didn't understand actually was that sous vide meant to cook under vacuum. And it's a technique where you actually seal something in a sealant bag and then cook it in hot water for a specified period of time till it gets to the exact right temperature. And then you can leave it in that water for a little while to maintain the temperature, and then you're gonna take it out and kind of do a reverse sear to finish everything off. So as I was looking for the equipment that you need, I found that Sam's Club sells this. This is a Anova sous vide kit. And so we'll unbox it here for you. It's $149 at Sam's. And it's gonna come with the sous vide circulator, an actual container, and then it also has an app that you can use with either your Apple or Android phone. So let's take it out of the box and take a look at what it comes with. If we can get the box open. All right, so we've got perhaps some kind of grate. And this it's the Anova Nano, and these are your quick start guide instructions. So we've got that, and voila. This is something that I think is nice about the kit that you're gonna get, because you actually have to have a container that the sous vide circulator will fit into, and it's possible to use a pot depending on the type of clamp that you have, but what you also need is something that covers that container that you're in, or that pot, because since you're cooking with hot water, you're going to get evaporation, and you want to keep all of that heat inside. So this kit comes actually with I guess it's a plastic kind of lid, a polypropylene kind of lid that's going to fit right on top of the container itself, but it will have a hole through which the circulator can actually go. So that's, I think, a very nice feature. And since the circulator itself is about $129, $130 at places like Target or Best Buy, and you can get this kit for $149 at Sam's, seems to me that it's a pretty good addition. All right, so inside the container itself, we're gonna pull out our actual Anova Nano. And as you can see, it's actually a pretty small piece of equipment. It's maybe 14 inches. It's got a display here, which we'll look at later, and then it's got a clamp on the back that's gonna allow us to clamp it to the container. And then we're gonna unplug, or we're gonna finish unpacking the container here, which also has some more instructions, and voila. So I think the way this is going to end up going is the grate's going to go here, and what's interesting is that's going to give you a place to hang the actual sous vide bags from. So the next thing we're going to do is seal up some steaks in our vacuum sealing bags, and we'll be able to hang them from here. And then of course the sous vide device itself, the circulator, will fit on like this to the container, and you'll screw it tight. You'll be able to plug it in. And then finally, you've got this nice lid, which is going to keep everything nice and contained. And so that's what your kit is going to look like when it's fully complete. And we will go ahead and get our steaks ready to go in the device. All right, so we're back, and now we're going to prepare the steaks to actually go in the sous vide apparatus. As you can see over here, I've gone ahead and washed out the actual container and filled it with water. But the important thing now is to take a look at our steaks. And what we have here today, since we were at Sam's, is we went ahead and got 4 Angus beef strip steaks. And at about $8–9 a steak, that's a pretty good deal for Angus here in Texas. So we'll get these opened up. And I think the important thing, based on everything that I've seen, is that you want to season these really well before you put them into the vacuum sealing. And so I'm just going to show you one. It's gotten some nice marbling on it. We'll put it down, and my family likes to use the McCormick's Montreal steak seasoning. It's already got your salt, your pepper, your garlic right in there, as well as some other seasonings in there. And so we're gonna be pretty liberal on it. I like to pat it down so I know that it's kind of staying on the meat. We'll flip it, and we'll do the other side. Okay, so we've got that. Pat that down too. And then we've got some here on the actual cutting board, so we'll just get the sides and get that fat area so we make sure we've got all that. So what I've also done now to prepare is to go ahead and create 4 sealing bags. And these are for use with Food Saver. So if you have a Food Saver at home, your Food Saver will do this for you. It'll create the bag and you can cut it to the size that you want. We're gonna take our steak and we're gonna put it in here. It fits quite nicely. And then over here is our Food Saver machine. So we'll take it. And what's interesting about this one is this actually has a sous vide setting. So we will try that and see what happens. It's probably gonna be a bit loud on the video, but that's all right. So we'll open it up. We will set the steak in the proper configuration to use the Food Saver. We will close it and seal it. We'll set our mode to sous vide here, and then we will hit seal. I guess we'll hit vacuum. And I can see it's working. It's pulling the air out of the bag. It's sealing that steak up. And not as loud as I thought, which is nice. So let's open it back up and make sure that we've got, oh, yep, we're good. It has given us a nice seal here. And so we have one that is already ready to go. So I'm gonna pause the video here. I'm gonna do the other 3 steaks and get them ready to go. And then we'll come back and actually go ahead and start our cook. All right, we're back. And what we've done is we have gone and sealed up each steak in its own bag here. And you can see it's well seasoned and ready to go. As I mentioned earlier, I went ahead and I filled up the Anova submersion tub. And you'll notice that we've changed angles. And the reason for that is the actual circulator has a fairly small cord. So you're going to want to get yourself set up somewhere right by an electrical plug. But beyond that, it's pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and first time, no practicing, and you'll also note that there is a min-max level, a minimum water level and a maximum water level for the circulator to work. We are quite well within the bounds there. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to use the clamp here to go ahead and tighten it up. I'm going to then set myself up with my steak. So I'm going to take the tray here, which is going to allow us to clamp the bags on. And then I'm going to take each steak, right? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to submerge it in the water. And what I saw online was a neat little trick where if you have binder clips or something like that, you can just clamp it there so that it's not going to float or go anywhere. So, and this particular one is nice because it happens to have 4, although I could certainly get more than 4 in here. I also took a little bit of a shortcut when I was filling up the tub, and I gave it some hot water. So we've tried to help it maybe heat up and cut down some of the preheat time. All right, so we've got now our 4 steaks in. The 4 steaks are all clamped down. Oh, dropped a clip, but that's all right. Easy to get back. And so that's all set. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lid and I'm going to put the lid on so that everything is all sealed up, nice and sound. And there you go. So that's our that's our whole setup right there, and we'll plug in. Now this is Bluetooth enabled, but obviously because I'm using the phone to video, I don't have the Bluetooth on. I'm not connected to it yet. But what you can see perhaps, and maybe we'll go ahead and get the phone and show you, is here is our interface on the actual device itself. This button tells me what the current temperature is. So it says it's already at about 109 degrees, 110 degrees. It can switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius. So if you're someplace where you're needing to use Celsius, you're more comfortable with that, obviously you can do that. This is going to be our target temperature, and we're going to see that it's set at 140. That's right kind of in the medium range, and my family happens to like the medium range. This is a timer where we could go ahead and set it for an amount of time. And I think what we're going to do is try and set it for 2 hours, maybe 2:15. And you can't really overcook it unless, according to what we see online, you leave it in there for 4 or 5 hours, and then the texture of the meat starts to change. You're not really overcooking it, but you are potentially changing the texture and of how it's going to taste when you cut it open and start chewing on it. So we're set at 2:15, we're set at 140, and we're going to hit go. And we can already hear it making some sounds. And if you look closely, perhaps you can see the water beginning to circulate as it runs through the circulator to heat up to the right temperature. So there we are. And again, the little start guide that comes with it, very simple. I may go ahead and take the video and finish that and go ahead and play with the Bluetooth connection. But we'll go ahead and see how this works. We'll come back in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours to take it out. The next step is going to be to sear it on the stove, and we'll use a cast iron pan for that. So all of this right now so far is a little bit more involved than taking it out and throwing it on the grill. But let's see what the end result is going to be. So we'll take a look at it in a bit. Thanks. All right, and we're back. Now it's been about 2.5 hours since we put our steaks into the sous vide. And if you come around here, you can see, you remember where we set it. We set it right at 140, and it is right here at 140. So it's been perfectly constant for the last 2.5 hours. The timer has gone off, and I will caution you, on this particular model, the beep is very small. It beeps once, and that's it. And if you miss it, you're a little bit out of luck. But I was able to go ahead and hook it up to my phone by Bluetooth. So if you're using a smartphone and you're in Bluetooth range, you can kind of track it. You can also adjust the time, adjust the temperature, and everything else that you want to do. So we're going to take the lid off, okay? And we will go ahead and pull out our steaks. And the clips are not too hot to touch. And voila. So this is what it looks like as they come out. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of them out. We've got 4 in here, as you recall. Yep, go 1. Now you're going to notice they're a little pale. They don't look that great. And that, by the way, is one of our side dishes coming out of the oven. We call these crashed hot potatoes. They're yummy. They're very simple, but they can go a little bit longer. So we'll set them back for, say, another 3 minutes. We'll get our last steak out here, and then we're going to open them up. Okay, so there we are. We've got 4 steaks out, so put them to the side. Now I'm going to open them up and take them out of the bags, and then we're going to transfer them over, and we're going to do the final sear because we're basically ready to eat. So we open it, cut that up, and voila. So here you see, we actually have a lot of juice. Smells good. Smells very good. So we're going to have 4 steaks that look like that, but you'll notice they don't have the nice sear that you get on the grill, and that's okay, because we're gonna fix that. Okay, so there's number 2. Ooh, a nice bend. And I guess what you do have to watch out for here is you are potentially getting juice all over the place, just like that. Not a great thing. It's all right. My son is going to clean the kitchen up later. He'll be fine with that. It's part of the bargain. When we cook, he cleans. Now, for other types of meat, what you might want to do is actually save this juice, and you could make some kind of gravy or sauce out of it, particularly with maybe a pork or something like that, but not for the steak that we're doing, because we're doing it pretty simple. So there we are. So there's our steaks. They're out, they're ready to go. And what I've done, as you come with me over to the grill, or not the grill, the stove, what you're gonna find is I have taken a cast iron skillet and I've already preheated it, and I've used some canola oil, okay? And it's actually quite hot already, so it's definitely, in fact, I probably need a little bit more canola oil, because it has already heated up quite a bit. And what I'm going to do now, and you can probably see, this is our other side dish. These are green beans, fresh green beans with garlic and salt and pepper and hot plate. And here we go. Right. Okay, so what we're going to do is sear these for about a minute on each side. And we've already made a bit of a mess. So I would recommend having some kind of grease splash shield, but that's all right. Once again, Dash is probably going to clean all this up, so it's okay. So we're going, and our cast iron pan will not do 4 at a time, I don't think. I might see if I can get 3 in here. Yep. So I've got 3. What we're going to do is actually go to pause it. Okay, so now we're going to flip these. They've been going for about a minute. Oh, and look at that. That looks pretty good. A nice sear in the cast iron pot. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take some butter that I pre-cut, and I'm going to drop this into the cast iron skillet just like that. We're going to go ahead and let that cook down. And in just a moment, after that cooks down, what I'm going to do is actually start basting it. So I'm going to get a spoon out, which I should have had ready to go, but first time cook. And once it starts to melt, we'll put these on top of the steaks. All right, so now you can see it. It's blocking you there for a minute. Get a nice sear on these steaks. Now we get some nice butter coming in. It's going to be a fantastic flavor. I'm going to flip these steaks again. Nope, that was not quite ready, so we're going to let it go. All right, I want more of a sear on it, like on the front side. Turn it up just a little bit. I'll even clean a little bit so that Dash's job is a little bit lighter. Okay, we have essentially everything ready to go. Now look, Julia was making a comment. She said, okay, that as itself does not look as appetizing, right? It's going to be cooked perfectly, I believe, if the rumors are true about sous vide cooking. But, you know, you can even see the indentations or the markings from the vacuum bag. So you don't really want to serve that as a steak. You want to continue to baste these like this. I'm going to flip over now. And that's looking a little bit better. All right, we're going to baste. We're going to go ahead and turn the heat up a little bit on it. Keep on basting these all we're really trying to do now is get that sear that you might get from the grill on it. Right? So, and if you're saying to yourself, well, why didn't we just go put these on the grill? That's a great question, and the answer is that, you know, with the grill, unless you've got a meat thermometer and you're checking things pretty constantly, you run a risk of overcooking or undercooking your steaks. So when I'm using a grill, I like a product called the Meater, M-E-A-T-E-R. It's a Bluetooth thermostat, and it will actually, again, hook up to your phone, and it will measure not only the ambient temperature of the grill, but it will also measure the temperature of the meat and get you to almost a perfect cook every time. And that can be really handy if you're cooking different types of steak or meat on the grill, but also if you're cooking different thicknesses. I tried to get thicknesses this time that were pretty close to even. So we're getting some very nice searing here. We've got some great butter flavor coming on top. So we're gonna let this go. We're actually gonna take this, and there are some places where we want the fat to render, so we're gonna put them on the side. So go ahead and get those sides. Good look, nice, nice. Ah, looking really good. Looking very good, very good. So one of the interesting things about doing this for the first time is that Julia is my videographer, and she's giving me hand signals, and I don't really understand what the hand signals mean. So we'll see. So I do, again, recommend that you keep that splatter shield on, because I just got splattered, and it's a little painful with grease that hot. Okay, so I think these are actually going to be ready to go. I'm going to take those off and put them on our cutting sheet. And we're going to put the final steak in there. It's going to be by itself. It's going to be very, very lonely. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and pause here. All right, so I have finished searing my steaks, and what I realized during the pause that Julia was telling me was an important point, right? When you put butter in the pan and then you put 3 pieces of meat, the temperature is naturally going to go down. So you may want to turn the heat up. That's what I was not getting the charade signals for. So, but I've gotten them now. We seared everything. Our crashed potatoes are done. And again, very simple. You boil them. You smash them flat with the bottom of a cup. You spice them and you throw them in at 400 for 15 minutes. But now let's just go ahead and cut into this, and we'll see, have we achieved our goal, which was a perfectly medium, and there it is. That's 140. So that looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit overdone. No, I mean but very consistent. Very, very consistent across 2, 3 steaks, and kind of a nice sear on the outside, but mostly pink in the middle. And all the same, exactly consistent. So we've gotten 4 very good steaks. I am going to go ahead and taste one, because it really wouldn't be much of a test without finally tasting one. Oh yeah, very good. The butter at the end adds a little bit of flavor, not greasy at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish the video here and go enjoy dinner. So bon appetit.